This video is brought to you by MonsterInsights. MonsterInsights makes it easy to double your traffic and sales by showing you exactly how people find and use your website. Just click on the link in the description below to get started. The first 200 people to use the coupon code WPBVIP will get 50% off MonsterInsights. Hey there, today I'm going to walk you through how to set up an e-commerce store on your WordPress website. So we'll go step by step from the very beginning, but that's okay. If you already have a website, then I'll have some timestamps in the description below so you can jump to the part that's most relevant to you. Throughout this video, we'll be covering things like setting up your hosting, installing WordPress. We're going to add a theme, and our favorite one right now is still Astra. We'll be setting up a plugin. We're going to use WooCommerce as our store, and then we want to add products to the site to show you how that works. This is a general overview, and we'll get into more details as we go along. So with that, let's get started. When you're building a website, it's very similar to what's happening when you build a house. You have the land that you need to use to put the house on. That's the same as the hosting provider. The hosting provider has servers that all of your files and folders will go on. Next, you have an address, and that's so people know where to find you. And the address is your domain name or your web address. You want to start building your website, and your website is your home. That's what houses all of your files, all of your images, the color structure, the way that it looks, the functionality of it via the plugins. Finally, you have your mailbox, which is your email address, and that's how people can contact you. And all of these come together to make up your whole website on the web. Now, at WP Beginner, we recommend using BlueHost as your hosting provider. They have great customer support. They are one of the oldest, most established hosting companies out there. They're officially recommended by the WordPress.org organization, and WP Beginner users can get 60% off and a free domain by using our discount code. To get that discount, just go to www.wpbeginner.com/refer/BlueHost. Hit enter, and it'll take you to that page. We also have a link below that you can use as well. From here, just click on the big green Get Started button, and it'll take you to the Select Your Plan page. You can choose your plan here. The biggest difference between these two is with this one, it's very basic, and you're only allowed one website. Whereas with this one, if you have web addresses or multiple websites that you want to set up, then this might be the best one for you. After you've chosen which setup you want, go ahead and sign up with a new domain name that you want since it comes free, and click Next. From here, you want to go ahead and create your account by filling in all of this information. And then down here, you want to verify the package information. I would say that your domain privacy you don't need. We normally just turn that off. Things like backup site and site locker, there are a lot of great plugins and features available within WordPress, so you don't need that either. Once you fill out all the information, you see the amount that's being discounted. Now just fill in your payment information and you'll have your hosting account set up. Now that we've signed up, we'll get a congratulations screen, and we'll just need to click on the next screen where we can create our password. This password will be used to manage our hosting account. Once you create the password, they will start setting up the account for you. One of the great things about BlueHost is now they've made installing WordPress even easier. From here, you can select a theme that you might like to go with your site. Since I'll be walking you through the whole process, let's go ahead and skip this step. And now they automatically set up WordPress for you. You no longer have to go into your BlueHost account and install WordPress and go through that process. Once we get everything set up, you can click Start Building, and we'll be taken to the back end of our WordPress dashboard where we can start customizing it. Once you log into your dashboard, it might look something like this, where you have a lot of notifications and things like that. What we want to do first is kind of clean everything up. There'll be some plugins that we'll install, but for now, I'll just walk you through how you can remove everything so you can start with a clean slate first. So we'll head over to our plugins area. And when we do that, we can scroll down all the way down till we see all of the plugins, and we can select them all and click Deactivate. And you want to click on Apply. So we're deactivating all of the plugins first. Then we need to select them all again, and then click Delete and Apply. and go ahead and say yes to we're sure that we want to remove all those plugins. There will be a few of these that we will reinstall, but I want to show you that process later. So right now we just want to get with a clean slate to start our whole process. And you'll see once they're deleted, you see them going away and you see the whole process being updated in real time. Also, if you see something like a WordPress update, go ahead and click Update Now. And now you have a screen on your dashboard like this. And now we can move on. Okay, now we can start building it. But really quickly, I want to show you that this is what it looks like in action right now. It's just a simple coming soon page on the front end. But if you notice up here, it says not secure. And that's because we don't have an SSL certificate installed on there. Making sure that your site has an SSL certificate installed and activated does a couple of things. Of course, it is more secure for your readers or the people who come to your website. It's also a slight ranking factor with Google because it tells Google that you are a secure site. In the past, you used to have to pay like $60 to $150 to get a secure certificate installed on your site. But nowadays, companies like Let's Encrypt have made this process super easy with our hosting providers like BlueHost. What you can do is go back into your dashboard, go down to security, and then you can ask for a Let's Encrypt certificate. Might take a little bit of time for them to set that up, but once they do, then we can go in and set it up for ourselves. Once you go there, you can request a certificate and you'll see that it is pending and that they're working on it. As you can see, it can take a little bit of time for them to get that set up. Once that is done and set up, the next thing we can do is go to our WordPress dashboard. You'll want to log in with the credentials that you saved before. From our dashboard, go over to Plugins, Add New, and we can type in SSL. What we're looking for is this plugin, and it's called Really Simple SSL. What we want to do is we want to install that, and then we also want to activate it. Once we activate it, you can see that it's active in the plugins area, and then we can go to settings to set it up. From here, you see some detections. We can see that it's not enabled, but the SSL certificate is detected on our site. So we can go ahead and activate the SSL. Great. Now that it's activated, you see up here, we have HTTPS and everything is active. And we also have the little padlock connected. So that's a good start. And now we can move on to designing the rest of our site. Okay, now that we have some of the technical aspects out of the way, let's go ahead and start taking a look at our theme. This is the theme by default. I've removed the Coming Soon plugin, and so you can see what our theme looks like out of the box. When WordPress first is installed on your site, it comes with a theme already, and it's usually set up for the year that it's installed. For instance, this is the 2019 theme. And you see it's pretty good. It's nice and clean, but it's a little lacking, and we're going to fix that next. So to show you what theme we have, you can go into Appearance, Themes, and you see by default, this is the current theme. You see it showing right here. And it's the 2019 theme automatically installed by WordPress. When you want to install a new theme for your website, you can simply go click on the Add New, and it will go into the WordPress repository where all the free themes that are vetted and proven to be okay for WordPress are here. But for this video, we're actually going to be using the Astra theme. It's a very specific theme. It is a great theme to allow you to customize your site exactly how you want it to look. We need to install it, and we also need to activate it. So now this is our theme that is on our site, and we'll take a look at it. You see it's still pretty bland, but we're about to fix that. So let's head back over. And with the Astra theme, what they've done now is they've created what's called starter sites. Basically, what used to happen if you had a theme and you wanted to install it on WordPress, you had to go through the documentation and follow along, hope that there's good documentation on how to make your site look like the demo that you saw and that you wanted. And it was a lot of frustration for a lot of people. What Astra has done is they've created these starter sites that make everything look exactly like the demo that you're seeing and the demo site that you want. So to get this going, we need to install a plugin. So let's head over to our plugins area, add new, and let's type in the Astra starter sites. This is the one that we want. So let's go ahead and click install now. And then once it's installed, we also have to make sure that we activate it. And now we see this plugin is active. So now we can click on the ready starter sites here. And from here, we want to select the page builder. In this video, we'll be using the Beaver Builder, and that is a light page builder. There's also a pro version, but for this, I'll show you how to work with the light page builder. So we'll click Beaver Builder, and then let's click next. And now here are all of the starter sites that we can choose from to install on our site. And when you see agency, that's for a premium version, but we can click on the free version and you'll see even with the free version, we still have like 35 sites that we can choose from. So you want to just take a minute to go through and see which one of these starter sites do you want to choose to start with? Like, what is it that you're ultimately building? What type of blog are you building? What type of website are you building? Is this for a business? Is this for fitness? Is this for outdoors? Do you have a product that you're wanting to sell? Just go through there and figure out which one you want to do. And even if you hover over it, it actually also will show you what the home page will look like, and it kind of scrolls down for you so you can see it all. Now, I've been talking a lot about gardens, so I can look at this one, and I think I'm going to use the garden maintenance for this theme. So I want to take a look and preview it, see it in action. And you see it showing up on my site, and it gives me a good idea of what this will look like. This is the one I want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and click Import Site. Now, before I do, you want to see that these are all the check marks that it's doing, and it's letting you know what all is happening. And now you can click on the little question mark here, and it will tell you everything that it's installing when it imports all this stuff. You see that it's going to also install some Astra widgets, the Beaver Builder plugin Lite version. We will get the ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder Lite. And then it's also going to install the WP Forms Lite plugin, which is a contact form plugin. And that is also our sister site. And it's a really great drag and drop contact form plugin. Aside from that, it'll also import some customizer settings. And then it will also import some content to make the site look exactly how the demo looks. So we're okay with all of that. Once we review everything, let's go ahead and click Import Site. And you see it can take anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes for this setup. What I'm going to do is go ahead and speed this up so that you're not having to wait around for this. Okay, in real time, that took a little bit longer than a minute to import all of those plugins and all those settings. So it was really super fast. And now we see that the site is done and we can take a look at it. So opening it up in a new tab, we see this is what our site looks like. And I do notice that some of the pages are double, but I'll take care of that later. It's probably just some glitch. But scrolling through and looking at all of this, it looks really good. All you really need to do is add your actual content, put in your information, and your site is pretty much good to go. That is way faster than what it usually takes for WordPress sites to get going. So now that we see what this looks like, let me walk you through how you can make some changes to your site. One of the first things we want to do is going up at the top, you see we have our logo, the blog title, and things like that. We can customize that by clicking on the Customize button from here, and it will open up this customizer area. And now you'll see these little pencil areas, and these are the things that we can change. So if I click on this, you can see I can change my logo here if I want. I can also remove it. Clicking on these other items, this will change my site title. And so let me change that to something that is more about my blog. I'll call it my garden blog. And we can decide if we want to display that here or not. The same thing with the tagline. That's simply what your site is about. So you can update that here as well. And then we can choose to display the site tagline if you want or not. And then when you do the inline logo, that will either put it underneath the logo or inline with it. We'll keep it inline for now. Now, the little site icon, that's this little guy up here, and we want to make that change here. By default, you'll typically want to have something by 512 by 512. Their ultimate goal is to have a good, clear logo to work with, and you want it square if you can. But we're going to select this one, and you see if it's not square, it'll let you crop it, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'll crop the image, and now it's automatically placed up there. So that looks pretty good. We can click the publish area. Okay, now you see that there are some duplicates that usually shouldn't happen. In this case it did, but that's okay. We can just go in and I'll remove those extra pages. So I'm going to go back to the site. I'm going to go to pages and I'll remove the duplicates here. Select all the duplicates and go up to the top and move to trash. Then I'll also want to make sure I go into the trash area, select them all again, and I want to delete them permanently. It's a two-part process. In case you delete something that you don't want to delete, then you can go back in and get it back, but we'll keep that deleted. And now it looks pretty good. I'm in the customizer area, so we can do some more customizations. You'll also see over here, there are other pencil areas, and this will let you change up some of these items. For instance, we can change the menu area here. We can edit the menu and we can choose which ones we want on there. You can also add an item. Since this is a blog, I want to add a page, and right here it'll allow me add a blog. And it'll create that page on the fly and add that to my menu. You see that that is my primary menu. If you wanted to, you could also add another footer menu and that would go at the bottom. But for now, we'll just keep it like this. Now let me click on this area and this will change my header layout. You see that these are the different layouts I can have to choose from. If I click on them, then it will center my logo or it will put it to the right. For this one, I just want to keep it. You can also disable the menu altogether, but then people won't know how to get to you. So let's not do that. And for this one, I want to keep it on the left. You see here, we can choose what the last item is. And this could be changed to having nothing, having it a search button, or having an actual button. This is great if you have a website that you want to get a quote for, that you could send them to a quote form if you wanted. You could also do something like asking them to sign up for a newsletter or something like that. For the button link, that's where you would send them to an actual web address, and you'd have to know what that web address is. For this, I'm just going to send them to our contact page. So let me open that up so I can grab the URL. And I will come back here and paste that URL here. Now, yeah, you can also just send them to the contact page, but this is just to show you what you can do with this. And from here, you can choose what type of button to do. You can even customize it if you want. For this, we'll just keep the theme button. And right here, you can choose the color and the layout of what you want your theme to look like. So you could play with that here. And if you don't like any of the colors that you choose, you can just hit clear and it will go back to the default color. There are a lot of settings that you can choose from hover of the text and also the hover of the background color. So when you mouse over, your button changes colors like you see here. Right here, you can also choose the radius. So right now it's pretty square, but we can change the button radius and you can see it starts to round off. When I put 10 in there, it's really rounded off. So you can adjust that as you want. You can also see the padding. That's how much space on top or bottom that you want to have your button have. And the same thing for the horizontal. If we make it really big, then it will be a really wide button, but then that will cause some problems. So we'll put it back down. So we're pretty happy with that button. We'll go ahead and click publish, and then we can go back and a few other things that we can look at. Let's go ahead and look at typography. And let's look at the primary header typography. That's for my title. And you see when I change the font size, it gets really big. So if you want that to be a little bit bigger, you can adjust that here. Same with the site tagline. If you want to make that a little bit bigger, you can do that here. Going back, we can look at the base typography. That's basically for everything else on the site. And you see for this one, it's the body and content. We can change the font here to any of these. There are several to choose from. And you can just play with the fonts to see which one fits your brand for your site. If you also know which one it is that you want, you can type that in here to show you what Lotto looks like. Let me just do that. And that's pretty good. The font variant is for things like italics. Same thing with the font size. That's just how big the text of the body will be. And before it used to be like 12 back in the day. That's become really difficult to read, especially on the larger screens. So the typical variation is between 16 and 20. And then you also see the line height. That's how much white space is between your words. If you do anything that you don't like, you can simply click on the little undo and it will revert back to what the default settings are. So all that looks pretty good. And that's for the body and content area. Now you can also make changes to your headings area, and that are these larger headings on your site. You want to choose the fonts that you want for that. For this one, I will show you what Open Sans looks like, and that changes down here. Again, you can also give the font variant if you want, and for this one, it's semi-bold. This is also where you can choose the text transform. If you want everything in uppercase, or if you want it lowercase, or capitalized, you can do that here. We'll just leave that all uppercase for this. And that all looks good. So we'll head back. And you just want to do the same thing for pretty much all of your content. Go in and change it all out so it looks exactly how you want it to look. Now that we're done with typography, then we can also look at publishing this. And then let's make some changes to the actual web page so I can show you how Beaver Builder works. From here, I'm logged into the website, but I'm on the front of the website, so you see the toolbar at the top. So let's click on Beaver Builder here, and you can get a walkthrough to go through the whole process. Since I'll be showing you how this is done, I'm going to click No Thanks. And from here, you can just start to make the changes that you want. For instance, I want to change this whole area out where it's talking about it's time for you to have the garden of your dreams. You can highlight this area and then just start typing in what you want it to say. And then scrolling down, I can also change the description area here. And once I start typing it in, it starts to fill in the information. And you see I can change the alignment here, but we want to keep the alignment centered. So I'll do that. And that looks pretty good. Under the separator, you can choose if you want to have a separator in between, like you see here. You can change the style and where you want to put the separator. You can also choose the dash or a different color. Just pick it from the color wheel like this. But we'll choose none. So, and then under typography, this is where you can change a little bit of the font. You can also change things like the line height and the style and spacing. This is also where the uppercase is, and you can change it here to be normal or in uppercase or lowercase. Under advanced, you can also do some things like animation, where you can make it slide in from, say, the left, like you see there. Here, I don't want to have this, so I can just click on that and just X out of that, so I can remove that. And you see, once you hover over any of these things, this is where you can make the changes. For instance, right here, this is the big background image, and I can choose to work with this image from here. Scrolling down for the background photo, I can choose to edit this, and I can also remove that here. If I want to edit this, these are all the photos that came in with the starter site. So I could just go scroll through and find one that I would prefer. And that's an image that I like a little bit better. So maybe we can use that one instead. And scrolling down, you can make other changes. You see when I scroll, it stays put. That is called fixed. And so for attachment, you can also choose to allow it to scroll. And that way it will scroll when the web page scrolls as well, like you see that. But for this one, I think we like it in a fixed setting. So we'll put fixed. So looking at the overlay, you see we also have a black overlay when you're scrolling down, and that's that black area. we can change this here, and you could change it to a different color if you want. And so when they're scrolling, then that would change that as well. We can also choose to just have a color. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks, and we'll click save. And now you see kind of the differences. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down because there's a button down here that I want to work on. This is the one I want to do. So let's click on it. Once you click on it, you have the style area that we can look at. And now I want to look at the background color. So I can change the background color to what looks better for the site. The blue is okay, but we'll do something like a green that goes with the garden site. That's not bad. And if you look down here, you can also do the structure of it. You can cause it to do full width, or you can do a custom length if you want, but we'll just go with auto, and that just basically goes by the default. And here again, you can choose the rounded corners that you want. I'm going to give it a 10 to show you how it looks with a 10, and let's do a little bit less. Let's do more like a 6. The next thing we want to do is let's go ahead and take a look at the link. Here's the section for the link. And what you can do is you can either type in the URL, or over here, you can hit select. And once you start typing in a page or a post that you have on your site, like projects, you can see that that pulls up, and then it brings in our URL for our site for the page projects. We can choose to open it in a new window or do no follow. So let's make sure we click save changes. And now I like the style of this button. So what I want to do is come over here and duplicate it. Now I have a duplicate button. So I'm going to drag it up to a different area on the site where I want it to go. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to remove this old read more area, and then we'll make this one the new button. What I need to do here is change the link for this and change the text of it. So I'm going to change that to say read more, and then I'm going to change the select for the link, and we'll have it go to our blog. Great. And then we'll change that and we'll save it. So now that looks pretty good there. What you can also do, actually that goes to our about page. So I'll change that to our about page. So all of that looks pretty good. Scrolling up, and you see, I actually still want to change these buttons here. Yeah, these buttons need to be changed out, so we can do the same thing. Grab this button and we will copy it. We'll make a duplicate, and then I can drag this up there at the top and drag it up above here so I can replace this button. So now I just need to hover over that and remove this button. And now I can do the same thing for these others as well. So I need to duplicate it and move that over. And then I'll just move it over here, remove that button because I don't want it anymore. And then I'll do it one more time. And then I can change it over here and then get rid of that. Now, I like the look of this, but there's a little bit of space, extra space that I don't really like here. And let me show you how you can change the margins for that. It's basically held by the margins. So we'll click on it. Let's go to advanced. And you see the margins on the top of this are at 50. Let's try something like 30. And I like the feel of that a little bit better. So the margins is the space around the button. So I can just do the same thing with the others. And what I could have done is change the spacing on that one before I duplicated. But this gives you a good idea of the power of how you can make all of these changes to get your site to look exactly how you want it to look. Once we're done with that, we can save our changes. The next thing I want to do is let's take a look at our menu area. You see up here, we have all of these services and all of these pages that we're showcasing, and our blog is actually not in uppercase, whereas all the others are. So there's a little bit of work that we need to do with that, and we can do that next. So to work with menus, we will go to the back end of our website. From the dashboard, you can go to Appearance, and you can go to Menus. You can also get to this from Customize, but I like this one. And let me clear out this. You see, these are all of the pages that are on my menu. And there's some that I don't want, like projects. My site is mostly going to be about blogs, so I'm going to actually remove projects and services. And then I want to left click and drag and rearrange some of these other pages. And then finally, you see that my blog is in lowercase. So to get it looking like the others, I'm going to put it all in uppercase letters. So I'm going to do that here. And now it's a smaller menu section and it feels a lot better for what my site is about. You could keep those if you're a small business, that would work perfectly for you. And if we go to manage locations, this is where the main menu is. You could also set up a footer menu and that would go at the bottom of the site just to show you some of the power that you have with this. So that looks pretty good. And we can go and visit our site and see what it looks like. And now it's a much cleaner setup. Now let's click on the contact us page because we have this form on here and I want to set it up and I want to clear up some of this other stuff to make it look better for my site. So let me show you how you can set up a contact us page. And this is using WP Forms Lite that was installed when Astra installed its starter sites. So to do that, let's head back over to our WordPress dashboard. We need to go to WP Forms and let's go to All Forms. From here, you can see the form that it was already set up for us. It's called Contact Us. So we can edit this to make it look exactly how we want it to look. So this is the WP Forms area, and this is the form, and these are all the fields that we have. We can remove them by just clicking on the little trash button. And you see here, we can click on the Your Name area, and you can either make it first and last, or you can make it simple. I prefer simple, so we'll keep it like that. Basically, it's a very simple form. You see in parentheses it's required, but we can actually click on the required button to make sure that they don't fill this out without filling out this information. So I'm going to do that for all of these fields. You see here, we can actually enable email confirmation, and that just means they need to fill out their email twice to make sure that they fill it out correctly. So we can set that up. And then finally, we'll make your message required as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we need to go over to settings because we need to make sure that the notifications are set up properly. First, under general, we can change the form name if we want. And that's just for our internal information. You could also change what the send button says here and what it says when it is in the process of sending. You can change all of that there. I would recommend keeping the anti-spam honeypot, and that just keeps spammers from spamming your site. Now going over to notifications, this is the notification that you'll get, and it's pulling in the email address from your website admin email. You can keep that here, or you can hard code your own email here as well. When you get your email, this is what it will say. So if you want, you can change it and maybe add the website name here as well. And then these fields will come from the actual form. So we want to keep those like that is. You could add a notification, something that is perfect for if you have a business website. You could add multiple notifications so that like the sales team will get it and IT will get it or something like that if you wanted to. Now let's go to confirmation. This is what the user will see when they submit the email, and it's a simple message that will pop up on the screen. If you want, you could also change it and maybe send them to a different URL or say a thank you page. You could set up a thank you page here if you wanted. For this setup, I'll simply keep it as a message page and I'll just send them this message. And that all looks good. So let's go ahead and save this. And now we need to get out of this and we need to head over to our contact page to change that up a little bit. And since we're using Beaver Builder, we want to launch the Beaver Builder plugin. And see when I click on that, that's the shortcode that the WP Forms comes over as. But I don't really want this stuff over here because I'm not a business. If you are a business, then this would work perfectly for you. So we can remove some of these items. So now once I've removed everything, now I basically have just one big column. And then I'll also remove this map area down here since I don't want to showcase my location. So now it's a much cleaner contact page, and you could add a little bit more up here talking about the blog, change this out to something that's more pertinent to our website. And then this kind of feels really long, and I kind of want to make this a little bit better for the user to fill this out, so not make it so big. So I'm going to change the margins of this. So you can do that with the margins, and I'll just fill out the left and right margins Now you can just clean it up a little bit more, see how it all looks. That looks pretty good. And we'll be done with this. So let's click done and publish. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is the blog page. Basically, I want all of my posts to come onto this blog post, and we need to set this up. To do that, we'll go to Customize, and there's an area that we need to fix. So once we go to Customize, we want to scroll all the way down to Home Page Settings, and we have the home page is the home page, and now we need to select the page where all the posts go. So I'll hit Blog. And so once I have posts, all of those will show up here, and we're good with that. The other thing we want to do is we want to work with the widgets. The blog page has sidebar, and these are all the widgets that are currently on the sidebar. There's some that I don't want, so I'm going to expand these widget areas, and I'll just remove the ones that I don't want here. And now we're set with those three, and I'm okay with that. So now we can click publish, and that should look good to go. Now I'll just show you real quickly. I'm going to go out and create a couple of blog posts so that you can see what this blog page will look like now. And I'll speed that up so you can see it. Okay, this is what it looks like with blog posts on the page, and I like the look of that. Over on the right, you also see the widgets that are there. You've got my search, categories, and my recent posts. And then I can click on the actual post here, and this looks okay. But you see up here in the web address, I have my web address set up, and this is the Permalinks, and it's currently set up to show the month, day, and year. So I don't like that, and I'm going to go in and change that. To do that, let's go over to our dashboard. We need to go down to Settings, and we're looking for Permalinks. And you see it's currently set up for day and name. And what I like to do is make it much simpler. And I usually just do the post name. And that's just going to be the title of the article or the title of the blog post to show. And that's how I like to set them up. It's much simpler, and it's easier for Google, and shorter URLs are a little bit better for SEO. So let's click Save Changes. And now when I go to a blog post, you see it's a much simpler URL structure, and I like that much better. The next thing I want to look at is let's go ahead and take a look at our logo. I'll go into the Customize area, and if you remember, we could click on this little pencil area to take a look at the logo. Okay, here is your logo, and if you want to change out the logo, you can click on it, and you see when you just click Change Logo, you could either choose an image that's already on your site, and you see the suggested dimensions here. But I want to show you how you can create a logo pretty quickly just by using a free tool. There are several free logo maker services and sites out there. I'm going to show you how you can do it with something called Canva. Canva is a real easy way to create images for your site and also create a lot of images for things like Facebook and Pinterest, Instagram. It works for all of that. So let's head over to Canva. You'll want to create an account for that, but it is free. Once you log in, you can scroll down and choose the logos area. And then you can see all of these logos designs or logo templates that you can choose from. Just go through and pick one that you like the look of, and then you can customize it from there. You can click on them to see what they'll look like over on the right. If there's a certain type of logo, like I put in garden, you can see something like this here. So I'm going to use this one as my starter point, and I'm going to make some changes here and change the fonts. There are a ton of fonts to choose from, as you see up here. Just change the fonts, and then you can just find one that's best for your brand. We'll also change the name to go with my garden blog. You can see I can change the style. I can change the size of it. That's a pretty good size. I like that. And I can even change the color here. You can choose from default colors here, or you could also click on the plus area to use a specific color here. That looks pretty good. And I'm not really happy with this font, so I'm going to change it to Lotto Bold. That looks better. And then this icon up here that came with this template logo, but we can get rid of that. And if you want, you can go to Elements. And from here, there are a ton of icons that you can choose from. There are several that are free, and then there are also some that are premium. And then you can also just search for an icon that you're looking for. And you see here are some to work with. I'm going to pick something simple like that. And that's a little too big. So we're going to bring it down. And then I just want to decide how I want it. Do I want it below? Do I want it on top? I think I kind of want it. That would be a little bit too big. I think I kind of want to move my name over and make it to the left. And just keep playing with it until it looks reasonable. That's not bad. Now I want to center this whole thing. To do that easily, what you can do is select the whole thing. So I'm just left click and dragging to select both items on here. And then we can go up and group them. And then that way when I move them around, they are grouped together. And then you see I can move them around so it's centered. Now that's not bad for a real quick and easy way to do that. So we can go over here and click download. PNG is suggested. You also would want to do transparent. A transparent background means that it would take on the color, whatever color you have. You would have to do the pro version to do that. So we'll just download it and do the PNG version. And then we'll just have a white background with this. So I want to download this to my desktop. And we want to give it a decent name. And that was a real quick way to do a logo. So now we just need to go to our customize area, change the logo, and we'll go to upload file, and you can just drag that photo up there. We can select that. From here, we could do a little bit of cropping, and that's what we did. And we can remove this different logo for a Retina device. And now that's my new logo. And we can choose the width of it and make it just perfect for what we want. And now since I have the name in my logo, I'm going to remove the title, but I'm going to go ahead and keep the tagline. And then from here, you can kind of play with it to see how it looks. I don't really like how the tagline looks underneath it. So it looks like I didn't crop enough when I first uploaded it, and that's okay. I'm just going to quickly make a change on this. When I select the logo and hit select, then I can crop it again. So I'm going to actually go in and crop it a lot more. Bring the top down, bring the bottoms down. I'm going to bring in the right and left as well. So make it much more compact. Yeah, and I like that a little bit better. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's a super fast way to get a really quick logo on your site. No problem. So we're going to go ahead and publish that. And now I'm going to look at it on our site. You see there's a little bit more issues with the tagline, but that's okay. If you wanted to, you could play with that a little bit more to get it exactly how you want that. But that looks really good. Great. Now that we have our site set up and we've been blogging, we've been setting up a membership site, doing our courses, but now we want to sell products. And the product can either be a physical product, like in my garden blog, I will be setting up physical products to sell, or it could also be a digital product of any kind, like an ebook that they can download. You can sell these on your site as well. So let's go through the process of setting up our online store so that we can start selling on our site. There are several different e-commerce tools that you can use, and you can check out our comparison of Shopify versus WooCommerce article. I'll link that in the description below. But for this video, I'll be walking you through how to install WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a great plugin that is added to your own WordPress site, and it gives you complete control over your website. So to do that, we need to head over to our WordPress dashboard, and we'll be installing a plugin. So let's go to our plugins area, add new, and we're searching for WooCommerce. This is the one we want. So let's go ahead and click install now. And once you install it, you also want to make sure that you activate it, like with all of our plugins. And from here, you'll get this nice wizard that will walk you through the process of setting it up. So let's go ahead and do that. You want to make sure where your store is based. For me, it's in the US. You can fill out your business information. You can choose what type of payments you'll be accepting it in. We'll be accepting it in US dollars. And this is an interesting one. What type of products do you plan to sell? This will set things up if you want to sell, say, digital products like an ebook, or as well as your physical products. Like for this site, I'll be setting it up to sell garden tools. So You can choose either or both. And then if you're selling services or products in person, you can check that as well. You can choose to allow WooCommerce to get some tracking from you. And then we'll move on. These are the payment methods that you can choose to accept for your store. Stripe is perfect if you want to accept credit cards and you allow people to stay on your site. PayPal is super easy because most people have a PayPal account and they can get started just by entering your PayPal email address here. So you can use both of them as well. You simply need to add the email address that's associated with your Stripe and or PayPal account to get started with that. And then also if you're going to accept offline type payments, people giving you a check in person or a bank transfer or cash in person, then you can do those as well. For shipping, if you're shipping items out, you want to set up your shipping rates. There are plugins to also bring in shipping rates that you need, but for ease of use, we're just going to do a flat rate and the cost will be $5 to ship. Actually, we'll do free shipping for the US. Anything that's not covered in that, we'll do $10 to ship that's outside of our zone. And if you see here, they have a variety of extensions if you want to do live rates. If you're seriously doing shipping, I would recommend dealing with one of their plugins for that, and that could just help with your shipping costs. Down here, you want to make sure that you have this in the correct weight distribution that you want to use, and we'll use inches because we're in the US. Just click continue. With this, you can choose to set these items up, the automated taxes that will calculate the taxes based on the checkout, and they are recommending that. You'll want to talk with your CPA for these items, and for this, I'm just going to remove these items to make it simple. You can also choose to connect your WooCommerce with Jetpack. That's simply allows for a few extra bells and whistles for your WooCommerce store. For this, I'm going to skip this step. And now we're ready to set everything up. What we can do is create our first product here. So we can click here. I'm going to go to the dashboard so I can show you how to add it from your dashboard, since that's how we'll be doing it most of the time. So let's go to our dashboard. And now you see over on the left, we have something called products. From here, this is where we can add a new product to get started in setting up our store. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a product that I want to sell. I've already talked to a manufacturer and I want to sell some pruners. And scrolling down, we see the product data here. And for us, this will be a simple product, meaning it's just pruners. I don't have variation sizes or anything like that. It's simply pruners. So normal cost will be $20, and we're going to give it a sales price of $17.99. And if you want to handle inventory, you can do that. Then that way, when you're managing stock, if it's low on inventory, then they'll get a notification that almost running out, kind of like what you see with Amazon. I'm going to leave that clear. Shipping, if you start to do shipping if you're doing more than just the flat rate that we have set up, you want to make sure that you fill in the weight and the dimensions for this for your shipping. And the linked products, that's perfect for upsells or cross sells. For instance, once I start adding more, I can add in like a pot that I want to sell, potted plants and things like that. Okay, scrolling down, we can enter a short description of it. Over on the right, if we have different categories, say we want to do garden tools and we want to expand out maybe plants or cactus or something like that, then we could add a different category here. So I'll give this a category, tools. Okay, scrolling down, we want to set the product image. So let me set the image. I've already uploaded a couple. So I'm going to pick this one as my product image and we'll set that. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and click update or publish if you haven't published it already. And then we can see it in action. Great. So now this looks really good. You've got the little sales item here. That's because we have a regular price and our sales price. Here's our description. Here's the category that we have it in. And now we can click add to cart to see that. Now we have it in our cart. And now we can look at the cart and see how that goes. Perfect. So we have an item in our cart. We can apply a coupon if we want here, if we've set up a coupon. You can have them calculate the shipping, and that's if we are doing different shipping. So that looks pretty good. You have a product here now that you can sell, and everything looks pretty good. The only other thing we want to do is make sure that we have like products up here to showcase our product items that we want to sell. So we can go back to our dashboard. So let's go to pages, and I'm going to sort by date because I want to show you the pages that are automatically installed when WooCommerce is installed. You've got shop, that's your shop page, a cart for when you want to look at items in your cart. Then you have your checkout page, and then the My Account for each individual. So the shop page will be basically when you want people to go shopping, then this is where they'll go. And you can have all of your products here. So let's put the shop up here somewhere. Our business is growing, so we'll need to make some room somewhere. So let's go to My Garden. Let's go to menus, and we'll add shop up there. So these are all the ones by default. I'm going to remove this one. And over on the left, I'm going to find my shop cart. Click on that, add to menu, and I'll be happy with that. Now, because all of my others are in capital, I want to change this to all caps. And that looks good. I'll save the menu. And now we can visit the site and see it all. Yep. And then we have the shop here. Perfect. And that looks really pretty good. So let me just add one more so I can show you how you can do a cross sell. So we'll go to new, and I want to do a new product. I'll click on product, and we're going to do garden pots. Scroll down. These are normally $25, and we'll sell them for $19.99. Again, you can add the inventory and the shipping if you want. This is where we want to do the linked products. We want to add this for a cross sell. And we need to add a product image, upload one, add the alt text, and set that as the product image. We want a description for the product. We'll add category of plants. Be happy with that. So let's go ahead and click publish, and we'll view the product here. When I go to add to cart, and now when I go to view the cart, you see the upsell or the cross sell here, which is perfect. So you want to take some time to fill out your products, fill out the descriptions. You'll likely get all of this information from your manufacturer, also get their price list for you, and then you can start filling out your store. And that's a great way to add an e-commerce store to your website. Did you learn something from today's video? If so, subscribe to our YouTube channel and we'll send more helpful tips to help you manage your WordPress website. And thanks for watching.